Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bolt with your host, Dr. Jeff Tilley. Today's topic, how about them apples? Sit back and relax and enjoy today's episode of the Daily Bolt. So today is December 1st, 2019, and today is also the first day that the Cosmic Crisp apple is going on sale in the United States. It may not be at your store yet, but I wouldn't expect it to be too long before it is in stores coast to coast. What is the Cosmic Crisp apple? The Cosmic Crisp apple is a new breed of apple. It took 2 decades to develop. And it's a crossbreed of the Honeycrisp and the Enterprise apples that are also very popular apples, especially the Honeycrisp. It was first developed at Washington State University in 1997, but it took really about $10 million to fully develop, have a stable breed, and have an apple that can go into commercial production. And now that it is effectively in commercial production, there is also a little bit of a monopoly that the state of Washington gets to have on this apple, partly because it was a Washington State University project, most likely funded in part by some sort of grant money, either federal grant money or at least state grant money, or by private donors. And so, for the next 10 years, only farmers in the state of Washington are allowed to grow the fruit. It cannot be legally grown anywhere else in the world. So the Washington farmers do get to have their monopoly. According to the researcher who co-led the apple's breeding program at Washington State, it's a very crisp apple. It's a fairly firm apple, has a good balance of sweet and tart flavors, and it's very juicy. But the key to the Cosmic Crisp that will be one of its real advantages is apparently it has an extremely long shelf life. Apparently the fruit will maintain good to excellent eating quality, being in refrigerated storage up to a year, perhaps even longer, so that if there's a bumper crop or a surplus of the apples, they can be picked and put in refrigerated storage and sold periodically throughout the year without a loss in quality. At least that's the claim. So we probably won't have a shortage of these apples anytime soon. More than 12 million of the Cosmic Crisp apple trees have been planted. 12 million trees, that's a lot of apples. And it may take a while for all of them to become producing, and while the initial rollout is going to be more limited, you should expect to see these apples start popping up in your local supermarket. Now, where's the name come from? The name comes from the fact that on the skin, which is dark red, like a Red Delicious apple, there are tiny white spots scattered all over the place, so that it kind of looks like there are little stars in the night sky on the skin of the apple. And this is not just one apple or every other apple. Every apple of this variety has these little tiny white spots on the skin, and it is a feature that came out from the crossbreeding between the Honeycrisp and the Enterprise apple. So, one thing to note about the Cosmic Crisp apple: it really qualifies as a genetically modified organism. In fact, it reminds everyone that genetically modified foods are all around us, have been all around us for decades, and they're not going to go away anytime soon. There are reasons to have genetic modifications. One of the big things with the Cosmic Crisp apple is its very long storage life without a reduction in quality. So you go buy a Cosmic Crisp apple. If you're one of these people that is against GMOs, well, just be advised, Cosmic Crisp is a GMO. In fact, Honeycrisp apples are GMOs. The Enterprise apple is a GMO. So many varieties of so much produce, in particular, are genetically modified organisms that have been produced over periods of years of a very careful selective breeding, genetic modification, trait monitoring, etc., 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 to get a desirable product. The common misconception of all GMOs being bad is unfortunately an after effect of the fact that large agribusiness organizations have adopted genetic modification in some of their products that they produce, and they have bad reputations with that community, the Monsantos, the Archer Daniels Midlands of the world. But the fact is, many of the foods that you eat are safe. GMOs, for the large part, are safe. I don't think anyone's going to get cancer from a Cosmic Crisp apple because there's something in the tiny little spots on the skin. It's just a difference in how the pigment is manifested on the apple skin. So when you see a Cosmic Crisp show up in your supermarket, might be a little pricey, but go ahead and give it a try. According to the breeders, you're going to like it. Probably better than a Red Delicious. And you might be able to find them even a little more commonly over time than the Honeycrisps, which tend to show up during a very limited period of the year, and you can't find them everywhere in the country. It seems like the Cosmic Crisp is going to be a bigger launch, a bigger product eventually, and hopefully will be available everywhere in the U.S. for everyone to enjoy, so you can really have an apple a day and keep that doctor away. That's all for this edition of the Daily Bolt. I'm Dr. Jeff Tilley. Have a good start to your December, the season of Advent. Have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, and try not to go crazy doing your Christmas shopping.